Let's talk about what's going on with Bitcoin in the world today. If you look at the deal, of course, JP Morgan does take over much of the assets, but the FDIC, see, you have to read in between the lines. The FDIC agreed to share losses on mortgages and commercial loans that JP Morgan assumed in a transaction and provided it a $50 billion credit line. That's a lot. And how much losses did the FDIC just incur by helping with this merger, right? So if you look at the rest of the deal, it talks about billions upon billions upon billions that JP Morgan took over. But what you don't see, their liabilities. How much liabilities that basically brought First Republic Bank downwards to basically being worth almost nothing. Well, see, this kind of stuff, JP Morgan doesn't incur. FDIC does. And where does FDIC get the money? Nowhere. Out of your pockets or from the money printer. FDIC doesn't have all this insurance. Bitcoin actually started turning up this year. Started gaining. And we ended April with a plus 3%. Not bad. Considering 2021, negative, 2022 was absolutely horrible, but 2022 makes sense because it's our crypto winter year, right? But we have thawed and we have come out of it. So we had basically almost 4 straight months. February, barely down, but you could count that almost as a green month. But basically so far, pretty good. 40% in January, 23% in March, 3% in April. But what's going to happen in May? May, we had a horrible 2021 and 2022, but traditionally speaking, May is not a bad month. Going back, 2018 was bad because that was the year after the bubble top in 2017, right? So that kind of makes sense. And 2021, was the bubble year, and then 2022 is when we started coming down. So if history repeats, that means May of this year should be in the green, because we're coming off of that bubble top year, which is 2022. Although we didn't really have a bubble top. If we did, Bitcoin would have hit $100,000. We got shortchanged by the Fed because Powell in December started announcing that there were going to be rate hikes starting in January, and that kind of just like cut the whole pump. But that's why so many people are turning to Bitcoin. Now, this is out of UK. Supposedly, we have this panel of fintech specialists that were asked about Bitcoin's price in 2023, where it's going to be in 2025 and 2030. Surprisingly, these specialists are pretty conservative. They believe Bitcoin will end the year around $35,000. And we're only in May. Just started in May. And we were at 30,000. I honestly think we could break through 30,000, 35,000 pretty easily. Okay, but it's okay. Let's do conservative, right? In 2025, by the end of the next bull run, Bitcoin will only be at $100,000. Again, very conservative. Basically, the banking system is becoming nationalized. What does that mean? Well, you figure FDIC and Fed is forcing all these mergers and taking on a whole lot of debt, right? But if you look at it, basically, look at the top banks in the U.S. And according to this, the top 15 banks control 75% of the deposits in the U.S. Banks overall from the 1920s went from 31,000 banks in the U.S. to 4,100 banks today. So basically, the bigger banks are being incentivized to swallow up the smaller banks. And the Fed has very close ties with all these big boys. In fact, the Fed bailed all of them out in 2008. Had they not done that, even the big boys would be gone, right? So, bottom line is, this is another case why we need to turn to Bitcoin. Okay, you're getting a smaller number of banks, you could call them the elites, that hold everyone's money. But can you really trust them, right, Can you really trust them to look out for you, the little guy? I would say no. If you're involved with crypto, then most likely you've heard of PancakeSwap, one of the biggest decentralized exchanges out there with over 1.5 million users. PancakeSwap is even more versatile with its latest V3 iteration on the Ethereum, BNB, and Aptos networks, featuring significant upgrades over the previous version, including more multi-chain optionality. So what's so different about PancakeSwap V3? First off, PancakeSwap offers the benefits of trading via decentralized exchange, allowing self-custody of your crypto and no reliance on centralized authority. With recent troubles in the CeFi space, the importance of avoiding counterparty risks have become painfully apparent, and PancakeSwap V3 offers a decentralized alternative for trading and swapping cryptocurrencies. The newest updated platform aims to offer the lowest on-chain trading fees in the industry. PancakeSwap V3 also increases returns for liquidity providers by boosting capital efficiency. By allowing providers to concentrate capital on smaller price ranges, they can earn more fees and make their capital work more efficiently. Speaking of fees, PancakeSwap V3 now introduces 4 different trading fee tiers of 0.01%, 0.05%, 0.25%, and finally 1%, compared to V2's single tier of 0.25%. This enables asset pairs to gravitate towards the tier with the best incentives for both providers and traders. Another exciting feature is the platform's true multi-chain functionality, as PancakeSwap is now compatible with Ethereum, BNB, and Aptos chains. This means PancakeSwap is fully multi-chain now, and users can trade tokens from these chains seamlessly, retaining ownership the entire time. Looking ahead, PancakeSwap has plans to introduce a V3 VIP trading rewards program and a position manager feature. The VIP program will reward traders based on their trading volume, and the position manager feature will simplify some of the most dreaded aspects of DeFi. The latest PancakeSwap V3 upgrade significantly improves the platform, providing users with the lowest fees in the industry, more efficient liquidity providing options, and true multi-chain compatibility. Don't miss out on these great upgrades. Check out PancakeSwap V3 today by utilizing the URL in the description below. Right, Warren Davidson from Ohio? Even he responded to that tweet and said Bitcoin fixes this. In order to keep spying on American citizens on every transaction, authoritarians want to make all the money accounts based, where a third party, they can control filters your transactions. Permissionless peer-to-peer transactions are essential component to sound money. Basically, he's arguing, yes, you have Bitcoin, you don't have this kind of problem. And then he also goes on and says CBDCs are basically evil. Evil. Basically, central banks want even more information from its citizens. And I've said this too. CBDCs are not to be trusted. Okay? It's a way for governments to track you even more so than they do now with cash. Jamie Dimon, of course, is trying to make everyone feel good about it, saying after JP Morgan's purchase, there will be no more bank crisis. It's all resolved, sounding a little bit like Jim Cramer, making a declaration that everything is okay. Is that really the case, though? Is that really the case? Yesterday, someone like PacWest, I was just going to say, someone like PacWest was down 28% yesterday. All of a sudden, their trading is halted. Why? It's up 2%. There's no reason why it should be halted. Well, something's going on there. But, you know, overall, this is what's happening, all right? This is what's happening right now. You look at Bitcoin starting from even March. This is not going from beginning of the year. Beginning of the year, Bitcoin would be up like close to 100%. But even mid-March till now, Bitcoin is up 30%. And then you watch all these other banks, regional banks, collapsing. Down 45%, 50%, minus 63%, minus 65%. So is the banking crisis really over? Well, if you're asking Wall Street, the answer is no. No, they are shorting the hell out of these banks. People are taking their deposits. No one's really trusting the banks all that much now versus before. I'm sure there's a lot of people that still trust banks, rely on banks. but the confidence level definitely is going down. So is the banking crisis really over at this point? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say there's a lot more that's happening behind the scenes right now, including what may be happening with PacWest. There's no reason why this stock should be halted right now. So Powell said, no, everything's good. Everything's good with the banks. Don't worry about the banks. You know, all the ones that were supposed to go under are rescued and saved. Look at this. PacWest trading halted, immediately down 41%. This morning, yesterday, it was down like 55% in the after hours. But now it's been halted. They are looking desperately for some kind of savior, right? They call it strategic options. But really what it means is, hey, we need someone to buy us out right now because we're about to collapse. Our shares have collapsed so much that, yeah, we're in deep trouble. And I told you guys this when he said that First Republic, after it was done deal, that the crisis is over and there's no more. And I told you guys for sure, Inverse Kramer was going to be right, that there will be more crisis and more failures, right? Well, First Republic did go under. Now you're going to have PacWest. And I saw another one today because there's a Canadian lender, TD Bank, that was supposed to acquire First Horizon National Bank. And then they decided not to do so. So it looks like this bank may be feeling the pain soon too. Bottom line is this. Powell said everything's okay with the banks. Not just Powell. Janet Yellen said everything's okay with the banks. President Biden said everything's okay with the banks. Everything's not okay with the banks. DXY. This is Bitcoin compared to DXY. Still waiting for DXY to come down, but you could see there's definitely an inverse relationship, right? And DXY, which is marked in the green, measuring strength of the dollar, is coming down, and Bitcoin is going up. So there's something to that, right? And if DXY continues to go down, which it probably will, guess what? Bitcoin will continue up.